first things I asked was, where's my dashboard? Where are my cases at? And they're like, well, you can run this report and you can sort through it this way and that way. And here's how you access the electronic record if you want to see the file on Social Security's end. That was just kind of the traditional way of logging in with two-factor authentication and text messages. We were trying to juggle that with 4 or 5 people trying to access the system at once. And I think that that headache is well documented, where you're getting texts and hearings and 4:30 in the morning. There were a lot of challenges of texts coming in at all hours of the morning and evening. Then we would have the problem where you would have too many attempts and it would get locked out. And then you were having to go in and unlock the ERE and call Social Security, and really just not knowing what was out there. One of our biggest problems that we have is we don't have access to the electronic record because Social Security has not processed our forms, or there's not an active claim, and there's no visibility to that in our case management system. The thing I lost sleep the most over was always cases that maybe we had scheduled a phone call for a client to file an application, and they called us back and said they had the phone call, everything was hunky-dory, and then 3 months later we find out that the case was never actually filed because it was not technically eligible. With Chronicle, we are able to see whether or not a case is open, and it is integrated with our case management system, so we're able to look at the notes, see what phase it's in, and take action accordingly. Prior to using Chronicle, we would basically live out of the mail. So we would get mail on a daily basis, and the more we grew, the more overwhelming it became. So you would have all these documents you're getting, and you're trying to help new paralegals you're onboarding because you're growing, understand what they're supposed to be doing with these things, and they're trying to triage a giant pile of mail. What we would have them do is they would scan the document in, they would label it, they would load it into the our case management system file line, and then they would task it out and assign tasks based on what type of mail it is.